Here with us now, founder and editor-in-chief of Plenty magazine, Mark Spellun. He's here to talk about the Plenty 20, lists of the top 20 people and companies that are working to make this planet a better place. Thank God somebody's here to do something constructive.
A grown-up is here.
God, we're really sorry about my gentleman here of Morning Joe. Let's raise the bar, shall we? So we just talk amongst ourselves here. And what are you up to?
Well, there's a lot of great stories to tell. There's each year we highlight the 20 companies, the 20 people, and the ideas that are going to change the world. And on point, even some of the companies we're talking about in here, like A123, are going to be providing the batteries for the Chevy Volt, and that are going to help.
How is that Chevy Volt?
I've been in it. It's a beautiful car.
Yeah. Is it going to sell?
I think it'll sell like hotcakes. I mean, they won't have too many available in 2010, but
they're not going to have that many, huh?
What is the deal on the batteries? There's been a lot of talk about the technology of these batteries, that if anything happened to the American automobile industry, the technology behind the batteries would be lost to us. What is the technology? What are the batteries?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think we'll ever necessarily lose the technology. Like A123 is the leading battery manufacturer, so they'll sell it to someone else, if not GM. But the battery, it's almost there. The Chevy Volt will have a 40-mile range. We expect this will improve in the years to come to maybe 80, 120. As the batteries get smaller, they'll be able to fit more into the car. So in 2010, there'll be limited availability. It'll be like the first hybrids coming out. There'll be a craze. But
so you think?
The question, I think the question that a lot of people have about the American automobile industry and their attempt to catch up to, the hybrids put out by Toyota and Honda, why has this taken us so long to not even to keep pace, to try and catch up?
Well, the U.S. automakers were just completely out of touch, right? Just a few years back, they were lobbying to keep the CAFE standards lower. They weren't really innovators, but I think over the past couple of years, they have gotten it. GM's been investing in A123 and Coscata, an alternative fuel company. Auto companies need to be a lot more like technology companies in the years ahead. They really need to be innovative. I mean, CAFE standards stayed from 27, the corporate average fuel economy stayed from 27 to 27, for the last 20 years, but now they're, setting to advance.
Joe Scarborough in Washington has a question for you. I think he's pulled himself together.
What my mechanic can't explain to me is why Japanese car companies can create a battery that gets 45, 50 miles to the gallon in engines, and we can't. We're not even talking about cutting technology. Forget the Manhattan Project. Just walk inside to a Toyota dealership in any hometown in America, lift the hood, and it's there. Why can't we do that?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the big three, there are people making electric cars now. You can get them with a 40-mile range, 80-mile range. But the big three, they want something that's going to be reliable, that they can make tens of hundreds of thousands of. So they're testing them now. So hopefully they will be out on the streets in 2 years.
But Toyota can do it. If Toyota can do it, why can't we do it?
Well, those aren't fully, those are, hybrid electric cars. And Ford and GM do offer hybrids too, just not quite as good. But.
Well, do we have anything that can compete with the Prius? And if we don't, why can't we?
Well, they got a late start, and so the hybrid drives haven't been available to them, but now they're starting to make their own, investing in companies that will make it for them. So right now we're, I think, at a precipice where.
When you say they got a late start, this at least to me, when I hear that, or when I read similar things in various newspapers about this late start that we got, with regard to the potential bailout, it would seem to me that why would you give a potential bailout and keep the same people in charge who continually, for 30 years now, have been behind this late start?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it argue that, before you give them the money, the top management of these companies have to go? The workers did not design these cars.
Well, we've also been their enablers, right? It was Congress that controlled the CAFE standards, so we could have done something. We could have been forcing them to innovate, but we allowed them to just stay the same for years on end. So I think it'll be us. If part of any bailout, we should probably be ratcheting up the CAFE standards even faster. So we're shooting for 35 miles per gallon by 2020. Europe's already at 40. Let's raise the bar a little higher.
Mark, Andy Card has a question for you from Washington. Andy.
Well, with regard to skin in the game is my concern. What are GM, Ford, and Chrysler saying that they're going to put in terms of skin in the game if the taxpayers bail them out? And it's really not the management of GM, Ford, and Chrysler. It's the workers at GM, Ford, and Chrysler. What's the skin in the game from the labor unions?
Wait, Andy, you know, I'll take a crack at that. They've already rolled back wages from $29 an hour to an average of $14 an hour going forward in the new contract. We always end up blaming the workers in this thing instead of taking a look at the entire country, the culture of the automobile industry. I don't know, I can't think of the exact numbers off the top of my head, but in 1941, the American automobile industry sold something like 1 million cars to the customers in 1941, before World War II began. From December 7th, 1941 until the end of World War II, we sold something like 200,000 cars to consumers because everything was retooled for the war. We did that in 4 years, and now we're talking about, well, we might get the mileage up to 35 miles per gallon by 2020. Stop it.
Yeah,
okay, and let me go back to Andy. Andy, you were Transportation Secretary. Have we taken too much blood from workers already? Do we need to ask for that?
We have to find a way to allow the U.S. auto industry to be competitive, not just in the United States, but around the world.
And why aren't they competitive? Forget the cars.
First, they carry a tremendous legacy cost, first of all.
What's that mean?
The legacy cost are pensions and health care costs for retirees. And that's a burden that the car companies are carrying that a Toyota and a Honda doesn't carry. So there's a legacy cost. That adds probably $2,000, $2,200 per vehicle cost in the marketplace that makes it very difficult for them to compete. They are very innovative.
What other costs do we have that Japanese don't have?
Well, the biggest ones are health care and pension costs in the cars.
Do Japanese workers not get health care?
Not to the same extent that U.S. workers do. And it's not paid for by the car companies. And so that's the big difference. They also understand that, you know, it's a very expensive workforce in the United States to build a car because of the legacy interests that have come. So I just think we have to find everyone putting skin in the game to find the solution. I happen to believe GM, Ford, and Chrysler can build very competitive cars in the marketplace. They also have to build for the entire marketplace. So they want to build the pickup trucks for the ranchers and the farmers, and they like to build the SUVs for the families and the minivans for the families. It can't all be Priuses running around.
Yeah, Mika?
Yeah, and Mark, really quickly, you've got this, the Plenty magazine has the Plenty 20, people actually making a difference as opposed to us trying to dig them out of years of bad operations. What are the top few before we go?
I mean, some of the other companies, we tried to have a whole range from technology to food. We even have like Pizza Fusion, an organic pizza delivery company, to Al Gore's on the cover.
Al Gore's on the cover.
To Kevin Wall, one of the creators of Live Earth, to Michael Pollan, who's brought the words, you know, local food to the nation. So it's a whole range from activists, you know, to political leaders.
I like it. I think we need to take
Hey, Mika, hold up that cover again,
Isn't
Mika?
that cool? Yeah.
Can I make an Al Gore joke or not?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, quickly.
I better not. We may want to interview him one of these days.
Yeah.
All right, hey, thanks a lot, Mark. Fascinating stuff from Plenty magazine.
Awesome.
Al Gore obviously
Good-looking
believes in
magazine.
Plenty. All right, coming up next on Morning Joe, the Daily Beast's Tina Brown when we return.